It's a brand new day. Hey, hey, hey. It's a brand new day. Halfway twisted, you've been out of shape.
I'm always saying you never know who you're sitting next to in Marbella. That is not the case today. I know exactly who I'm sitting next to. Masha Malka is not only a fabulous life coach, she is an amazing author. There is so much to this young woman that it's an absolute privilege and pleasure to have you back on the program today, Masha, and get to know you that little bit more. Welcome.
Thank you, Nicole. Wonderful to be here again.
Firstly, congratulations on your most successful and dynamic book launch at the Benesra Gallery last week. It was
Thank you.
Wonderful. Started off with your very own daughter Veronica singing. What a talented young lady.
Yes, well, I have 3 children, as you know. Veronica is my oldest, she's 18, and she's a professional singer, so I figured why not use that and help her create the ambience. My other 2 kids were also working, cleaning, and doing all the things. So, yes.
It's nice, and a lot of you actually will know Veronica because Veronica was our kids presenter on Marbella Now while she was at school and studying, and now obviously off into the world and quite significant in her own right.
Yes.
As are you. I'd like to go to the beginning because my grandparents had to flee Poland. It was very traumatic, but to know that you at 17 years old in your lifetime, not something my grandparents told about, but had to flee the Soviet Union with your family.
Yes.
To the unknown, completely cut off from your heritage, your country. What was that like? How do you remember that time?
It is difficult to explain unless you experience it, but if you imagine, the hardest part, I would say, is imagining having your family, your extended family, close friends, people that you care about. I'm not even talking about the things you care about, the people you care about, suddenly realizing that you will never see them again. Because at the time it was still Soviet Union and we had no idea the wall would come down and it will open the borders again. So at the time I left thinking that I would never see these people again. And also going to United States of America, which was in the middle of the Cold War still, the country that we knew very little about, and what we knew about it was not very
Well, I imagine it wasn't the best propaganda you'd heard about the States in the first place.
It wasn't, yeah. I thought I would come to a country full of like homeless people and just...
So really it is that way in Russia. You grew up, I suppose, with a different presentation of what it was like outside of Russia. So how did you see the world back then? I mean, really, they told you like everyone was homeless and it was all devastating?
Yeah, it was, we couldn't really, I didn't really have an understanding of the outside world that well. And because there was all that propaganda, negative propaganda about, especially America, not so much Europe, but America, yes, very negative. And when I got to America, it was the exact same way about the Russians. When people would see me and find out I'm Russian, they would say to me, but we thought they were all big and blonde and, you know, like butch looking. And
it's like, where's your bottle of vodka?
Yes, it's like, it's just, you just don't fit in our perception.
Were they nice to you? Did they welcome you? Were they scared of you?
No, no, they were very nice to me, very, very nice. And I think the most, well, there were many different incidents where culture shocks, I guess I would say. But one of them, for me, was interesting because the reason we became refugees is because we're Jewish family. That's why we were able to leave. And in the Soviet Union, I was very scared to say that I was Jewish. And coming to America, I had to learn that actually it was okay, that I'm accepted for who I am. I don't need to hide my beliefs or my religion. And I wasn't even religious because Soviet Union was an atheist country. And you could not practice religion, or they would send you to Siberia, or you just disappear. You know, it was quite strict. So Judaism in the Soviet Union was actually a nationality.
A lot of people actually look at Judaism as a nationality, which has surprised me. Being Jewish myself, you don't say that you've got a Catholic doctor or a, do you know what I mean? You wouldn't point those things out, and yet people do seem to point out a religion as if it was
it's
a
part
nationality.
It's part of a heritage. I actually recently did this DNA test. I don't know
how
if you've
fun.
heard of it. Yes,
I haven't. I'd like to do it.
Yes, and funny enough, it was 91% Jewish, which they put as, you know, nationality. It's a heritage thing, so it's not even a religious. But that was very eye-opening, and because it's the first taste of freedom. I was free. I was free to be who I am. I didn't have to hide. I didn't have to be scared all the time if I say the wrong joke, if it's a political joke. You know, you're always scared living in Soviet Union. So yes, so definitely freedom, but at the same time, I had to learn to survive very quickly, because no knowledge of language, no friends, no money, no contacts, and my parents came with me, but I had my younger brother with me, so they were surviving themselves. They had to find a way to survive, and so I had to learn very fast, and I worked different jobs, and I put myself through college, and it was, you know, when they say what doesn't break you makes you stronger, definitely a very good experience in a way that it made me a much more stronger, more determined person, and also it made me realize that if I want to achieve something, you know, I have to do it. I can't rely on other people. Let me correct myself. I always rely on other people. I can never do it on my own, but it's up to me to create that vision for myself, and to do the steps, and to follow the steps, and to surround myself with the kind of people that can support me with that vision. Because at the age of 17, 18, and I was always very petite, and I always felt kind of, at the time, I felt a little bit lost in that big world country of America where I don't know anything, and such culture shock, complete opposite to Soviet mentality. And I thought to myself, what can this like little Russian girl do to change the world? I don't know why I felt I wanted to change the world, but I did.
Well, coming from the world that you came from,
yes.
I'm sure you had a lot of comparable of things that could have been better.
Possibly. I remember thinking that sort, like, what can I do? I don't know anybody. I don't even speak the language very well. And then I decided that in order for me to change the world, I need to change myself in a way that I need to become the best I can be. Because if I become the best I can be, and if I become happy and successful, then that influences the world. Because if everybody actually made that decision and said, I'm going to become the best I can be, and I'm going to reach my full potential, this will be a changed world, and a beautiful, happy world. And so I made that decision, and it was definitely one of the turning points for me.
It's brought you a long way, and obviously it's served you very well, because you have flourished, beautiful family, you've got successful businesses in your wake, importing and distributing foods from back home to make our Marbella community so much more at home. You've given courses even here in the MIUC, you've traveled the world talking, coaching, and now you have presented us with the second of this series of the books, which I like, the 1 minute coaching, because and especially the title of this one, Mastering Your Emotions. I'm a very emotional person. I like being passionate. However, emotions can sometimes do us a disservice if we don't harness them. And in fact, I had a meeting yesterday, and I left and I said to my friend, I was way too enthusiastic in the appointment. I showed too much enthusiasm. I think I kind of scared them. So it would have been better if I'd have harnessed those emotions. So when Masha said, oh, I've got a book, I was like, oh gosh, this is for me. Because we can't let our emotions run our lives. We want them to guide us, I suppose. Tell us a bit about the technique I love. Quick, simple guide that even someone who's busy has time for.
Okay, there's a lot of questions
in
one sentence.
It's exciting. It's again, I need to control my emotions.
That's
Welcome,
okay.
Masha.
That's okay. No, I am also quite an emotional person, and I like the word you use, harness. I think it's a really good word, because we don't want to control emotions in the sense that we pushing them away or not thinking about them, hiding them. We want to learn from them, exactly like you said, because every emotion has a reason. In fact, emotions is what makes us human. You know, if we didn't feel emotions, we'd just be robots. You know, that's what makes us different, is the emotions. But understanding emotions and learning how to use those emotions to create the kind of life that we want to live definitely gives us an advantage in life. So the reason actually why I ended up writing the book on emotions, in fact, I started writing my second book, I started writing on decision making, because the quality of our lives very much depends on the quality of the decisions that we make. So that was my first book, and I was about halfway through it, and then this topic of emotions came up, and I decided to put out the questionnaire to people from all ages to see what they would prefer to learn more about. And the best answer came from a 19-year-old who said, if I know how to master my emotions, I will make much better decisions, and therefore I would prefer to learn about the emotions. So that's why I think everything kind of starts with that.
But it does, I say, a lot of people talk about stress and fear would be two of the most popular emotions, it would seem, in our day-to-day. And those, without a doubt, would be negative emotions for then making a decision based on stress and fear.
Yes, the book is divided in 4 sections, and 2 of them is feel-good emotions and feel-bad emotions. I didn't want to say negative or positive because they all have a purpose. And the feel-bad emotions, you're absolutely right, are all based in fear. And if you learn how to deal with fear, and in fact, one of my other turning points was a decision I made to do the things I fear, because that builds your character and makes you stronger. It makes you realize that actually fear is much scarier in your mind than when you face it and you do what you fear of doing.
And I actually like just an incentive when they say fear and you spell it out, is fear of expected appearances, of expected thing appearing real, or fear is false experiences appearing real, or false expectations appearing real. There's nothing valid in any of these imaginings, but they do affect us so much.
And they also affect us because what we imagine we attract. So the more you focus on what you worry about or what you fear, the more likely you actually to experience it. So when you do worry, and I'm never going to tell anybody not to because you're human and you're going to worry. When you do worry, just catch yourself and realize you're experiencing this emotion. This emotion is not who you are. That's a very, very important point. There's you and there is an emotion, and you're just experiencing it. So you can always choose whether you want to be in this emotion, how long you want to be in this emotion, or if you want to just let it go. It's easier said than done. That's why I think it's a good idea to read the book, because I explain in details. I always give action steps. The 1-minute coach system is basically takes about a minute to read each chapter. You have the information on one side, action steps, and an image to make it easier to remember. So it's an easy and very important book to read.
Where can we get the book?
You can order it on Amazon, UK, America, any wherever you are, it's available. You can also order it in the bookstore. If you go there, you give them the name or the name of the book, they'll put it, find it, and order it for you. But Amazon, I think these days
is the easiest for everybody.
Way, yes.
Mind you, it wouldn't be bad to walk into a few Marbella bookstores and have Masha there, maybe doing a few signings, which you will be doing now after the show with our guests here. I have my copy of this fabulous 1-minute coach guide to mastering your emotions by the fabulous Masha Malka, one of our Marbella international community. Absolutely fascinating. Masha, we could carry on chatting all afternoon.
Yes.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, hey.
Free taxi 4 times a month and 25% discount on your car insurance if you're the zero hero.
Yeah, I'm here in Marbella, but it says here I'm in La Canada.
If you haven't mastered the lingo, don't worry. Linear Director has a free GPS geolocator service that will come and find you. Next week is Easter. Unbelievable. The year is just flying by. It seems like 2 minutes ago we were celebrating Christmas. Easter is very special in Spain, more so in Andalusia. If you've never been here during Easter, you will get many joys, delights and quite a few surprises. The processions are very spectacular, very emblematic and very religious. It's something quite unique. So please do check out the website of marbellasoul.com or the marbellaexclusive.com from the town hall to make sure you know when and where to be. Also, of course, we've got the tennis tournament coming up in Puente Romano, which is going to be a lot of fun, Easter egg hunts, and so much going on in Marbella. Please do check out what's going on. You don't want to miss out. And it's lovely, as I say, at this time of year to take part in the Spanish festivities because they are something you've never seen before. Well, that's it for us for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and we'll be back again next week. Hasta luego.
It's a brand new day.